noticed the honeysuckle this morning?
What?
The honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle where?
By the back gate, Edward.
That honeysuckle? I thought it was convolvulus or something.
But you know it's honeysuckle.
I tell you, I thought it was convolvulus.
It's a wonderful flower.
I must look.
The whole garden's in flower this morning. The clematis, the convolvulus, everything. I was out at 7. I stood by the pool.
Did you say the convolvulus was in flower?
Yes.
But good God, you just denied there was any.
I was talking about the honeysuckle.
About the what?
Edward, you know outside the tool shed?
Yes, yes.
That's convolvulus.
There?
Yes.
Oh. I thought that was japonica.
No. Good Lord, no.
Pass the teapot, please. Don't see why I should be expected to distinguish between these plants. It's not my job.
You know perfectly well what grows in your garden.
Quite the contrary, it's clear that I don't.
I was up at 7. I stood by the pool. The peace. And everything in flower. The sun was up. You should work in the garden this morning. We could put up the canopy.
Canopy, what for?
To shade you from the sun.
Is there a breeze?
A slight one.
Very treacherous weather, you know.
Do you know what today is?
Saturday.
It's the longest day of the year.
Really?
It's the height of summer today.
Cover the marmalade.
What?
Cover the pot. There's a wasp. Now, don't move. Keep still. What are you doing?
Covering the pot.
Don't move. Leave it. Keep still. Now, give me the telegraph.
Don't hit it. It'll bite.
Bite? What do you mean, bite? Keep still. It's landing.
It's going in the pot.
Give me the lid.
It's in.
Give me the lid.
I'll do it.
Give it me. Now, slowly.
What are you doing?
Be quiet. Slowly, carefully. On the pot. Very good.
Now he's in the marmalade.
Precisely.
Can you hear him?
Hear him?
Buzzing.
Nonsense. How can you hear him? It's an earthenware lid.
He's becoming frantic.
Oh, rubbish. I'll take it away from the table.
What shall I do with it?
I'll put it in the sink and drown it.
It'll fly out and bite me.
It will not bite you. Wasps don't bite. Anyway, it can't fly out. It's stuck. Drown where it is in the marmalade.
What a horrible death.
Quite the contrary.
Have you got something in your eyes?
No. Why do you ask?
You keep clenching them, blinking them.
Oh, I have a slight ache in them, that's all.
Oh, dear.
There's a slight ache, as if I haven't slept.
Did you sleep, Edward?
Yes, of course I slept uninterrupted, as always.
And yet you feel tired.
I didn't say I felt tired. I merely said I had a slight ache in my eyes.
Why is that, then?
I really don't know.
Oh, goodness.
What is it?
I can see it. It's trying to come out.
How can he?
Through the hole. It's trying to crawl out through the spoon hole.
Can't do it, of course. Well, let's kill it, for goodness sake.
Yes, let's. But how?
I'll bring it out on the spoon and squash it on the plate.
It'll fly away. It'll bite.
If you don't stop saying that word, I shall leave this table.
Wasps do bite.
They don't bite. They sting. It's snakes that bite.
What about horseflies?
Horseflies suck.
If we wait long enough, I suppose it'll choke to death. It'll suffocate in the marmalade.
You do know I have work to do this morning, don't you? I can't spend all day worrying about a wasp.
We'll kill it.
You want to kill it?
Yes.
Very well. Pass me the hot water jug.
What are you going to do?
Scald it. Give it me. Now. Now.
Do you want me to lift the lid?
No. I'll pour it down the spoon hole. Right down the spoon hole.
Listen.
What?
It's buzzing.
Vicious creatures. Curious, but I don't remember seeing any wasps at all summer until now. I'm sure I don't know why. I mean, there mustn't be wasps.
Please.
This couldn't be the first wasp, could it?
Please.
First wasp of summer. No, it's not possible.
Edward, kill it.
No. Now, tilt the pot. Right down there. Blinding him. That's it.
Is it?
Well, lift the lid. All right, I will. There he is. There. What a monster.
What an awful experience.
What a beautiful day it is. Beautiful. I think I'll work in the garden this morning. Where's that canopy?
It's in the shed.
Yes, we must get it out. Ah, my goodness, look at the sky, not a cloud. Did you say it was the longest day today?
Yes.
Yes, it's a good day. I can feel it in my bones and my muscles. I think I'll stretch my legs in a minute down to the pool. My God, look at that flowering shrub over there. Clematis, Not a wonderful...
What? What is it, Edward?
He's there.
Who?
Blast and damn it, he's there. He's there at the back gate.
Let me see. Oh, it's the match seller.
Yes, he's back again.
But he's always there.
Why? What is he doing there?
He's never disturbed you, has he? The man's been standing there for weeks. You've never mentioned it.
Well, what is he doing there?
He's selling matches, of course.
Gosh, ridiculous. What time is it?
It's 9:30.
Well, what in God's name is he doing with a tray full of matches at 9:30 in the morning?
He arrives at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
He's always there at 7.
Yes, but you've never seen him actually arrive.
No, I...
Well, then how do you know that he's not been standing there all night?
Do you find him interesting, Edward?
Interesting? No, I don't find him interesting.
He's a very nice old man, really.
You've spoken to him?
Oh, no. I haven't spoken. I've nodded.
He's been standing on that spot for weeks, you realize? 2 months I haven't been able to step outside my back gate.
Why on earth not?
Used to give me great pleasure, such pleasure to stroll along through the long grass, out through the back gate, pass into the lane. That pleasure is now denied me. It's my own house, isn't it? My own gate.
I really can't understand this, Edward.
Damn! And you know I've never seen him sell one box. Not a box! Well, it's hardly surprising he's on the wrong road. Well, it isn't a road at all, what is it? It's a lane leading to the monastery. Off everybody's route. Even the monks take a short cut to the village when they want to go to the village. No one goes up it. Why doesn't he stand on the main road if he wants to sell matches at the front gate? The whole thing's preposterous.
I don't know why you're so excited about it. He's a quiet, harmless old man going about his business. He's quite harmless.
I didn't say he wasn't harmless. Of course he's harmless. How could he be other than harmless?
are you doing in the scullery?
Doing?
I've been looking everywhere for you. I put up your canopy ages ago. I came back and you were nowhere to be seen. Have you been out?
No.
Where have you been?
Here.
I looked in your study. I even went into the attic.
What would I be doing in the attic?
I couldn't imagine what had happened to you. Do you know it's 12 o'clock?
Is it?
I even went to the bottom of the garden to see if you were in the tool shed.
What would I be doing in the tool shed?
You must have seen me in the garden. You can see through this window.
No, only a part of it.
Yes.
There's a corner of it, a very small corner.
What are you doing in the scullery?
No, nothing, just digging out a few notes, that's all.
Notes?
Yeah, for my essay.
Which essay?
Well, my essay on space and time.
But I don't know that one.
You don't know it.
I thought you were writing one about the Belgian Congo.
I've been engaged on the dimensionality and continuity of space and time for years.
And the Belgian Congo?
Oh, never mind the Belgian Congo.
But you don't keep notes in the scullery.
You'll be surprised. You'll be highly surprised.
Good Lord. What's that? Is that a bullock let loose? No. It's the match seller. My goodness, you can see him through the hedge. He looks much bigger from here. Have you been watching him? He looks like a bullock. Edward, are you coming outside? I've put up your canopy. You'll miss the best of the day. You can have an hour before lunch.
I have no work to do this morning.
What about your essay? You don't intend to spend all day in the scullery, do you?
Get out! Leave me alone!
Edward, you've never spoken to me like that in all your life.
Oh, yes, I have.
Weddy? Beddy, Weddy?
Do not call me that.
Your eyes are bloodshot.
Damn it.
It's so dark in here.
Damn it.
And it's so bright outside.
Damn.
It's so dark in here.
Blast it!
You're frightened of him. Why?
I'm not.
You're frightened of a poor old man.
I am not.
He's a poor, harmless old man.
Ah, my eyes.
Let me bathe them. for
Keep
you.
away. I want to speak to that man. I want to have a word with him. It's quite absurd, of course. I really can't tolerate anything so absurd right on my doorstep. I shall not tolerate it. He sold nothing all morning. No one passed. Yes, a monk passed, a non-smoker in a loose garment. It's quite obvious he was a non-smoker. But still, the man made no effort. He made no effort to clinch a sale, to rid himself of one of his cursed boxes. His one chance all morning, and he made no effort. I haven't wasted my time. I've hit, in fact, upon the truth. He's not a match seller at all. The bastard isn't a match seller at all. Curious, I never realized that before. He's an imposter. I watched him very closely. He made no move towards the monk. As for the monk made no move towards him. The monk was moving along the lane. He didn't pause or halt or in any way alter his step. As for the match seller, how ridiculous to go on calling him by that title. What a farce. No, there's something very false about that man, and I intend to get to the bottom of it. I'll soon get rid of him. He can ply his trade somewhere else instead of standing like a bullock. There's a bullock outside my back gate.
He isn't a match seller. What is his trade?
I'll soon find out.
Are you going out to speak to him?
Certainly not. Go out to him? Certainly not. I'll invite him in here, into my study. Then we'll get to the bottom of it.
Why don't you call the police and have him removed? Why don't you call the police, Edward? You could say he was a public nuisance. Although I can't say I find him a nuisance.
Call him in.
Me?
Go out and call him in.
Are you serious? I could call the police, Edward. Or even the vicar.
Go and get him.
Good morning. We haven't met. I live in this house, my husband and I. I wonder if you could... Would you care for a cup of tea or a glass of lemon? It must be so dry standing here. Might I buy your tray of matches, do you think? We've run out completely, and we always keep a very large stock. It happens that way, doesn't it? Come and have lunch with us. We've goose for lunch. Do you care for goose? This way. That's right. May I take your arm? There's a good deal of nettle inside the gate. Here, this way. Oh, mind now. Isn't it beautiful weather? It's the longest day of the year today. That's honeysuckle. And there's convolvulus. There's clematis. And do you see that plant outside the conservatory? That's japonica. He's here.
I know.
He's in the hall.
I know he's here. I can smell him.
Smell.
I smelled him when he came under the window. Can't you smell the house now?
What are you going to do with him, Edward? You won't be rough with him in any way. He's very old. I'm not sure if he can hear or even see, and he's wearing...
I don't want to know what he's wearing.
Well, you'll see for yourself in a minute if you speak to him.
I shall.
He's an old man. You won't be rough with him?
Look, if he's so old, why doesn't he seek shelter from the storm?
But there's no storm. It's summer. The longest day...
There was a storm last week, a summer storm. He stood without moving while it raged about him.
When was this?
He remained quite still while it thundered all about him.
Edward, are you sure it's wise to bother about all this?
Tell him to come in.
Now. Hello. Would you like to go up? I won't be long. Up these stairs here. You can have a glass of sherry before lunch. Shall I take your tray? No? Very well. Just up those stairs. The door at the... The door... The door at the top. I'll join you later.
Here I am. Where are you? Oh, don't stand out there, old chap. Come into my study. Come in. That's right. Mind how you go. That's... Ed? Now, make yourself comfortable. Thought you might like some refreshment on a day like this. Sit down, old man. Now, what will you have, sherry, or what about a double scotch, eh? Yes. I entertain the villagers annually, as a matter of fact. I'm not the squire, but they look upon me with some regard. I don't believe we've got a squire here anymore, actually. I don't know what's become of him. Nice old man he was. A great chess player, as I remember, and 3 daughters. Pride of the county. Flaming red hair. Alice was the eldest. Sit yourself down, old man. Eunice, I think, was number 2, and the youngest was the best of the bunch. Sally. No, it wasn't Sally. Now, wait a minute, it was, Fanny. Fanny, a flower. You must be a stranger here. Unless you lived here once, went on a long voyage, and have lately returned. Do you know the district? Now, you mustn't stand about like that, old man. Take a seat. Well, which would you prefer? We have a great variety, as you see. I can't stand uniformity. I like different seats, different backs. Often, when I'm working, you know, I pull up one chair, scribble a few lines, put it by, pull up another, sit back, ponder, put it by, sit back, put it by. I write theological and philosophical essays. Now and again, I jot down a few observations on certain tropical phenomena. Not from the same standpoint, of course. Yes. Africa now. Africa. Africa has always been my happy hunting ground. Fascinating country. Do you know it? I get the impression that you've been around a bit. Do you by any chance know the Membunza Mountains? Great range south of Katambalu. French equatorial Africa, if my memory serves me right. There's extraordinary diversity of flora and fauna, especially fauna. I understand in the Gobi Desert you can come across some very strange sights. Never been there myself, but studied the maps, of course. Fascinating things, maps. Sit down. I say, can you hear me? I say, can you hear me? You possess the most extraordinary repose for a man of your age, don't you? Well, perhaps that's not quite the right word, repose. You find it chilly in here? I'm sure it's chillier in here than out. You know, I haven't been out yet today, but I shall probably spend the whole afternoon working in the garden, under the canopy, at my table, by the pool. Oh, I understand you've met my wife. Charming woman, don't you think? There's plenty of grit there, too. Stood by me through thick and thin, that woman, in season and out of season. Fine figure of a woman she was, too, in her youth. Wonderful carriage, flaming red hair. Yes, I was in very much the same position myself then as you are now, you know, struggling to make my way in the world. I was in commerce, too. Oh, yes, I know what it's like. The weather, the rain, beaten from pillar to post, uphill, down dale. The rewards were few. Winters in hovels, up till all hours, working at your thesis. Oh, yes, I've done it all. Let me advise you. Get a good woman to stick by you. Never mind what the world says. Keep at it. Keep your shoulder to the wheel. It'll pay dividends. You must forgive me for chatting away like this, you know, but we have few visitors at this time of the year. All our friends, some are abroad. I'm a home bird myself. I wouldn't mind making a trip, of course, to Asia Minor or to certain lower regions of the Congo, but Europe, no, out of the question, much too noisy. I'm sure you'll agree. Now, look, what will you have to drink? A glass of ale. A Curacao, ginger beer, Tia Maria. A Wochenheimer Fuchsmantel Riesling Beere Auslese. Gin and it, Chateauneuf de Pape, a little Asti Spumante. Or what do you say to a straightforward peas porter gold Tropskin, fine Auslese or Reichsgraf on kettle staff? Any preference? You look a trifle warm. Why don't you take off your balaclava? I'd find it a little itchy myself, but then I've always been one for freedom of movement, you know. In the depths of winter, I wear next to nothing. Say, can I ask you a personal question? I don't want to seem inquisitive, but aren't you rather on the wrong road for match selling? It's not terribly busy, is it? Of course, you may not care for petrol fumes and the noise of traffic. I can quite understand that. Forgive me for peering, but is that a glass eye you're wearing? Now, do take off your balaclava, there's a good chap. Put down your tray and take your ease, as they say in this part of the world. I must say you keep quite a good stock, don't you? Tell me, between ourselves, are all these boxes full, or are there just a few half-empty ones on some? Oh, yes, I used to be in commerce. Well, then, before the good lady sounds the gong for déjeuner, will you take an aperitif with me? I recommend a glass of cider. Now, just a minute, I know I've got some. Look out! Mind your tray! You've dropped your tray. These boxes are all wet. You've no right to sell wet matches, you know. This feels suspiciously like fungus. You'll never get on in this trade unless you take good care of your goods. There's your tray. Now, let me be quite frank with you, shall I? I really cannot understand why you don't sit down. You have 4 chairs at your disposal, not to mention the hassock. I can't speak to you until you're settled. Then and only then can I talk to you. Do you follow me? You're not being very helpful. You're sweating. The sweat's pouring out of you. Take off that balaclava. Well, get into the corner, then. Go on, into the corner. Into the shade of the corner. Back. Backward. Get back! Ah, you understand me. Forgive me for saying so, but I had decided that you had the comprehension of a bullock. I was wrong. You understand me perfectly. That's right. A little more. A little more to the right. No. Ah. You're there. In shade. In shadow. Goolo. Now I can get down to brass tacks, can't I? You may be wondering why I invited you into this house. You may think that I was alarmed at the sight of you. You'll be quite mistaken. I was not alarmed by the sight of you. I did not find you at all alarming. No, no. Nothing outside this room has ever alarmed me. You disgusted me quite forcibly, if you want to know the truth. Why did you disgust me to that extent? That seems to be a pertinent question. You're no more disgusting than Fanny, the squire's daughter, after all. In appearance you differ, but not in essence. There's the same... I want to ask you a question. Why do you stand at my back gate from dawn till dusk? Why do you pretend to sell matches? Why... What is it, damn you? You're shivering, you're sagging. Come here. Come here. Mind your tray. Quick, quick, sit. Sit there, sit in this, there. Ah. You're sat. At last. What a relief. Oh. You must be tired. Is your chair comfortable? I bought it in a sale. I bought all the furniture in this house in a sale. The same sale when I was a young man. You too, perhaps. When you were a young man, too, perhaps. At the same time, perhaps. some air. Let's get a breath of air. Flora!
Yes?
Take me into the garden.
Come under your canopy.
Peace. Peace out here.
Look at our trees.
Yes.
Our own trees. Can you hear the birds?
No, I can't hear them.
But they're singing high up and flapping.
Good, let them flap.
Shall I bring you lunch out here? You can have it in peace and a quiet drink under your canopy. How are you getting on with your old man?
What do you mean?
What's happening? How are you getting on with him?
Oh, very well, remarkably well. He's a little reticent, somewhat withdrawn, but it's understandable. I'd be the same, perhaps, in his place.
Did you find out anything about him?
A little. He's had various trades, that's sure. His place of residence is uncertain. He's not a drinking man. As yet, I haven't been able to discover the reason for his arrival, but I shall in due course, by nightfall.
Is it necessary?
Necessary?
I could show him out now. It wouldn't matter. You've seen him. He's harmless, unfortunate, old, that's all. Edward, listen. He's not here through any design or anything. I know it. I mean, he might just as well stand outside our back gate as anywhere else. He'll move on. I can make him, I promise you. There's no point in upsetting yourself like this. He's an old man, weak in the head. That's all.
You're deluded.
Edward!
You're deluded, and stop calling me Edward.
You're not still frightened of him.
Frightened of him? Of him? Have you seen him? He's like jelly. He's like a great bullock fat of jelly. He can't even see straight. I think, as a matter of fact, he wears a glass eye. He's almost stone deaf. Almost. Not quite. And he's very nearly dead on his feet. Oh, why should he frighten me? No, you're a woman. You know nothing. But he possesses other faculties. Cunning. The man's an imposter, and he knows I know it.
I tell you what, look, let me speak to him. I'll speak to him. I shall get to the bottom of it.
You, it's laughable.
You'll see. He won't bargain for me. I'll surprise him. He'll admit everything.
He'll admit everything, will he?
You wait and see.
What are you plotting?
I know exactly what
What are you plotting?
Edward, you're hurting me. I shall wave from the window when I'm ready, then you can come up. I shall get to the truth of it, I assure you. You're much too heavy-handed in every way. You should trust your wife more, Edward. You should trust her judgment and have a greater insight into her capabilities. A woman. A woman will often succeed, you know, where a man must invariably fail. Do you mind if I come in? Are you comfortable? Oh, the sun's shining directly on you. Wouldn't you rather sit in the shade? It's the longest day of the year today. Did you know that? Actually, the year's flown. I remember Christmas and that dreadful frost and the floods. I hope you weren't here in the floods. We were out of danger up here, of course, but in the valleys, whole families, I remember, drifted away on the current. The country was a lake. Everything stopped. We lived on our own preserves, drank elderberry wine, studied other cultures. You know, I've got a feeling I've seen you before somewhere. Long before the flood. You were much younger. Yes, I'm really sure of it. Between ourselves, were you ever a poacher? I had an encounter with a poacher once. It was a ghastly rape, the brute. High up on a hillside cattle track, early spring. I was out riding on my pony, and there, on the verge, a man lay, ostensibly injured, lying on his front, I remember, possibly the victim of a murderous assault. How was I to know? I dismounted. I went to him. He rose. I fell. My pony took off down to the valley. I saw the sky through the trees, blue, up to my ears in mud. It was a desperate battle. I lost. Of course, life was perilous in those days. It was my first canter, unchaperoned. Years later, when I was a justice of the peace for the county, I had him in front of the bench. He was there for poaching. That's how I know he was a poacher. The evidence, though, was sparse, inadmissible. I acquitted him, letting him off with a caution. He'd grown a red beard, I remember. Yes, a bit of a stinker. I say, you are perspiring, aren't you? Shall I mop your brow with my chiffon? Is it the heat, or the closeness, or confined space, or actually the day's cooling? It will soon be dusk. Perhaps it is dusk. May I? You don't mind? Ah, there. That's better. And your cheeks. It is a woman's job, isn't it? And I'm the only woman on hand. Tell me, have you a woman? Do you like women? Do you ever think about women? Have you ever stopped a woman? I'm sure you must have been quite attractive once. Not anymore, of course. You've got a vile smell, vile. Quite repellent, in fact. Sex, I suppose, means nothing to you. Does it ever occur to you that sex is a very vital experience to other people? Really? I think you'd amuse me if you weren't so hideous. You're probably quite amusing in your own way. Tell me all about love. Speak to me of love. God knows what you're saying at this very moment. It's quite disgusting. Do you know, when I was a girl, I loved. I simply adored. My goodness, what have you got on? A jersey. It's clogged. Have you been rolling in mud? You haven't been rolling in mud, have you? And what have you got under your jersey? Let's see. I'm not tickling you, am I? No? Good. Lord! Is this a vest? That's quite original. Quite original. You're quite a solid old boy, I must say. Not at all like a jelly. All you need's a bath. A lovely lathery bath. And a good scrub. A lovely lathery scrub. Don't you? It will be a pleasure. I'm going to keep you. I'm going to keep you, you dreadful chap, and call you Barnabas. Isn't it dark, Barnabas? Your eyes. Your eyes. Your great big eyes. My husband would never have guessed your name. Never. It's me you were waiting for, wasn't it? You've been standing waiting for me. You saw me in the woods picking daisies in my apron, in my pretty daisy apron, and you came and stood, poor creature, outside my gate till death do us part. Poor Barnabas. I'm going to put you to bed. I'm going to put you to bed and watch over you. But first, you must have a good, whacking great bath. And I'll buy you pretty little things that will suit you. And little toys to play with. On your deathbed. Why shouldn't you die happy? Don't come in.
Well?
He's dying.
Dying? He's not dying.
I tell you, he's very ill.
He's not dying, nowhere near. He'll see you cremated.
The man is desperately ill.
Ill? You lying slut. Get back to your trough.
Edward!
To your trough! Good evening to you. Why are you sitting in the gloom? Oh. You've begun to disrobe. Are you too warm? Let's open the windows then, shall we? What? And pull blinds, and draw the curtains. Air will enter through the side chinks of the blinds and filter through the curtains. I hope. We don't want to suffocate, do we? Now, are you more comfortable? You look different in darkness. Take off all your togs, if you like. Make yourself at home. Strip to your buff. Do as you would in your own house. Did you say something? Did you say something? Anything? Well, then, tell me about your boyhood, hmm? What did you do with it? Run, swim, kick the ball? You kicked the ball. Which position? Left back, goalie, first reserve? I used to play myself. Country house matches, mostly. Kept wicket and batted number 7. Perhaps you don't play cricket. You look less and less like a cricketer the more I see of you. Where did you live in those days? God damn it, I'm entitled to know something about you. You're in my blasted house on my territory, drinking my wine, eating my duck. And now you've had your fill. You sit like a hump. A mouldering heap in my room, in my den. I can remember. You found that funny? Are you grinning? My Christ, is that a grin on your face? Lopsided it, all down on one side. You're grinning. It amuses you, does it, when I tell you? Well, I remember this room. Well, I remember this den. Yes, now it was clearly defined, so clearly. The garden, too, sharp, lucid in the rain and the sun. My den, too, arranged for my purpose, quite satisfactory. House, too, was polished. All the banisters were polished, and the stair rods and the curtain rods. My desk was polished, and my cabinet. I was polished. Stand on the hill, look through my telescope at the sea, and watch the path of the three-masted schooner. Feeling fit, well aware of my sinews, their suppleness, my arms lifted, holding my telescope steady, easily. No trembling. My aim was perfect. I could pour hot water down the spoon hole, yes, easily, without difficulty. My grasp was firm, my command established. My life was accounted for. I was ready for my excursions to the cliff. Down the path to the back gate, through the long grass. No need to watch for the nettles. My progress was fluent. After my long struggling against all kinds of usurpers, disreputables, lists, literally lists of people anxious to do me down and do my reputation down, my command was established. All summer, I would breakfast, survey my landscape, take my telescope, examine the overhanging of my hedges, pursue the lane, pass the monastery, climb the hill, adjust my lens, and watch the progress of the three-masted schooner. My progress was as sure, as fluent. Yeah, yes, you're quite right, it is funny. Laugh your bloody head off, go on, don't mind me, no need to be polite. That's right. You're quite right, it is funny. I'll laugh with you. Ha 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 ha! Yes, you're laughing with me, I'm laughing with you, we're laughing together. Ha 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 ha! Why did I invite you into this room? That's your next question, isn't it? Bound to be. Well, why not, you might say. My oldest acquaintance, my nearest and dearest, my kith and kin. Wouldn't correspondence have been satisfactory? More satisfactory. We could have exchanged postcards, couldn't we, what? Views, couldn't we? Of sea and land, city and village, town and country, autumn and winter, clock towers, museums, citadels, bridges, rivers. Seeing you stand at the back gate, such close proximity was not at all the same thing. Now you look different. Very different. It is that sometimes I viewed you through dark glasses. Yes, and sometimes through light glasses. And on other occasions bare-eyed, and on other occasions through the bars of the scullery window, and from the roof, yes. In driving snow, and from the bottom of the drive in thick fog, and from the roof again in blinding sun, so blinding, so hot that I had to skip and jump and bounce in order to remain in one place. That's good for a guffaw, is it? That's good for a belly laugh. Well, go on, let it out. Let yourself go, for God's sake. You're crying. Laughing. You're crying. You're weeping. You're shaking with grief. For me. I can't believe it. My plight. I've been wrong. Come. Stop it. Be a man. Blow your nose, for goodness sake. Pull yourself together. fever. Excuse me. I've caught a cold. Germ. In my eyes. Smalley. My eyes. My eyes. Did I had any difficulty in seeing you? Wasn't so much my sight. My sight is excellent. In winter, I run about with nothing on but a pair of polo shorts. There wasn't so much any deficiency as in my sight, but the airs between me and my object don't weep. Change of air. Currents obtaining in the space between me and my object, the shades they make, the shapes they take, the quivering, the eternal quivering. Please stop crying. Nothing to do with heat haze. Sometimes, of course, I would take shelter to compose myself. Seek a tree, a cranny of bushes. Erect my canopy, and so make shelter. And rest. And then I no longer heard the wind or saw the sun. Nothing entered, nothing left my nook. I lay on my side in my polo shorts, my fingers lightly in contact with the blades of grass. The underside of all the great foliage dark about me. Nothing entered my boat. Nothing left it. Then, time came. I saw the wind. I saw the wind swirling. The dust of my back gate lifting. The long grass siding together. You are laughing. You're laughing. Your face, your body. Rocking, gasping, rocking, shaking, rocking, heaving, rocking. You're laughing at me. Look younger. Look extraordinarily youthful. You want to examine the garden? Must be very bright in the moonlight. I'd like to join you. Explain. Glance. Where I run. I track. In training. I was #1 sprinter at Howells. When a stripling, no more than a stripling, I licked men twice my strength. When a stripling, like yourself. The pool must be glistening in the moonlight. And the lawn. I remember it well. Cliff. Sea. Three-masted schooner. Who are you?
Barnabas! Ah, Barnabas. Everything's ready. I want to show you my garden. Your garden. You must see my japonica, my convolvulus, my honeysuckle, my clematis. Summer is coming. I've put up your canopy for you. You can lunch in the garden by the pool. I've polished the whole house for you. Take my hand.